I mean, we could start easy. So maybe for all who maybe don't know you, I'm not sure if all know you. So maybe you could explain to us who you are, what you do on track, off track, and yeah, so a slowly introduction.
Okay, I'll do a slow introduction.
Or a
So
fast introduction, how you want.
just a leisurely, not too fast, not too slow. So my name is Sabré Cook. I'm a professional racing driver as well as a mechanical engineer. I was born and raised in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I got into racing because my father used to race motocross and supercross professionally, and he and my mother did not want us racing motorcycles. So we got into karting, and I started just before I was 8 years old, and then started kind of taking it more seriously around 10, and went on to have a pretty successful karting career, and then raced professionally in karting, and then eventually switched to cars in 2017 when I finally was able to get a sponsor to put me in my very first race. And I eventually went from SCCA, then I went into USF 2000 on the road to Indy, which is now, I think it's like, yeah, I think it's USF
Pro
2000, and then it's
2000.
USF Pro 2000.
And USF Juniors, I think it's as well.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing now how it's
Yes,
all
it is.
restructured itself. So, but yeah, so I did a couple races in that, and as well as USF4, and then I got asked to try out for the W Series in the beginning of 2019. And then made it through the first evaluation, so qualified for the first year in 2019. Alongside that, I graduated in mechanical engineering in 2017 as well, which my bachelor's. And then I won the Infinity Engineering Academy the end of 2018, which then secured me a job to work in the UK with Infinity and then later on Renault F1. So that kind of coincided with me running in W Series first year. So then it worked out very well that I was based in Europe, and I lived and worked out of Milton Keynes and then Bicester, and then raced in W Series in 2019, and then in 2020 we were supposed to go full time again in W Series. So I was like, I can't continue to work full time in F1 and race this much. So I decided to move back to the US. And then unfortunately COVID happened. So I did just a couple Indy Pro, well, now it's USF Pro 2000 races. And then we obviously did a few esports races with W Series in 2020. 2021, I did W Series again, and unfortunately suffered a pretty bad injury at the first race. I did a few other GT car racing as well. Well, that was in WRL. I did one MX5 race at Daytona, and then also raced the NLS race at Nürburgring. And then after that, I ended up actually having to have surgery, unfortunately, to fix everything and several spinal injections. So I spent a lot of 2022 on crutches and recovering, and then eventually jumped back in to the first race I did was the WRL race, which here in the US is like an endurance championship. So we usually do anywhere from 8-hour to 24-hour races, but most of the time they're about 8 to 9 hours. And then I won the Kelly Moss shootout at the end of 2022, which then secured me the seat to run full time with the team in the Porsche Carrera Cup North America this year. And that just started last month now. It's because it's already April. So that is just a very summation of how I've gotten to where I am now.
That sounds very busy, to be honest.
Always.
I mean, better busy than not racing at all, I would say. But yeah. Yeah. Wow, is in chat. Yes. Yeah, I followed your injured story last year. Yeah, last year was 2020. That looked very hurtful sometimes. So
yeah,
all the way back.
it's a challenge for sure. That it's still going to be, like they say, 18 months post surgery before it's really completely like the right hip will be like the left. So that's still not until September of this year. So got a little bit more to go, but yeah, but mostly everything is back operating the way that it should be.
That's good. That's good, especially for the racing. And I mean, I was following the first race you had. It was good, I would say. You were good in the midfield of the Porsche Cup, and I think it's a bit different to race from what you used to before in W Series and whatever the Porsche to the open wheeler cars.
Yeah,
I think
it's
a bit
completely
different.
completely different. Like, yeah, there was a lot to learn at the first race, but it's going to be a fun season, and it's incredibly competitive
Oh, yes.
this year. We have like ex IndyCar drivers. We have a few factory drivers that have just been hired to run the Carrera Cup. So it's really cool because then when you get challenged being around that many amazing drivers, you grow a lot more. So it's going to be a good season.
Yeah, it's a really big and competitive field. That's, by the way, a really difficult word for a non-English speaker, like so many other. But yeah, so it was impressive to see a run in the midfield and really keeping up with the pace and with the race. So it could be a very very interesting season. More races to come. I mean, we have some weekends to go, I would say. So
Yeah, seven more weekends and then 14 more races. So long ways to go still.
and so much possibilities to learn and improve and collecting experience. So
Yep, exactly.
especially with the Porsche when you're not used to it. So would you like, I mean, it's very early in the season, of course, to talk about stuff like this, but would you really love to continue with the Porsche, or would you love to try other things next year again?
I would honestly just try anything. I mean, I love the Porsche brand, and they've been a really big proponent of bringing me into the series and helping me, get into a full-time ride. So I really appreciate the fact that, they are so supportive. So who wouldn't want to be a part of, an organization like that? So I would definitely like to stay within the Porsche family if possible. There's lots of opportunities besides, just staying in Carrera Cup, because you can move up into IMSA and WEC and everything else afterwards. So there's lots of opportunities down the line if I stay within the Porsche line.
Definitely, and you never know what happens in life. So there are
Mhm.
so many paths you can go and can happen or whatever. So yeah, would you like to go back to single seaters one day, or would you love to stay more with the close
I
cars?
love single seaters. I think it's like, the cars are just, they're so impressive with what they can do. So I would always love to have the chance to go back into single seater racing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, I just before the questions disappears in the chat, it is harder to keep up with your back injury. Was the question from King?
What was the question? It is what?
It is harder to keep up with your back injury.
Oh, like it's harder to drive with the back injury?
I would think so. Yes, I would think. If not, King, please tell us what you maybe intended with your question. But I think it's the question.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's now that I've had surgery and gone through a lot of rehab, it is not like it doesn't, I don't acknowledge it or notice it in the car. Before, 100%, it was really really difficult. Like I would be in quite a lot of pain throughout the entire race. So yeah, it was not it was very hard to drive at your absolute potential when you're in that kind of pain and discomfort. So because when to go fast, you need to feel comfortable, you need to feel connected to the car. So it was quite challenging. But now I'm not like, I'm actually was it was really really such a great feeling after the first race this year, where I got out of the car after the race and I was like, I didn't think about being in pain once. So I haven't had that for like a year and a half now. So the fact that that happened, I was like, okay, we're going in the right direction. So yeah, it's getting a lot better.
That's amazing. That's what we want to hear. So
Yeah.
that's so good, especially with the back. I think that's a creepy part of the body to get hurt to. So it's good to hear that it's definitely getting better. So another question: does she also hate cones?
Cones. I mean, we don't really have cones on the racetrack. Like sometimes they can be set up as braking markers or like apex points, but usually like during a pro race weekend, like there's no cones on the track. They just have the boards. So yeah,
Yeah,
usually there's no cones.
to explain this, maybe we are more or less in an iRacing community, and mostly when we meet up for fun races, it's all about to kill the cones. So I think the question is a bit intended to this.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm the one that loves to kill the cones. So.
I mean, yeah, I don't like cones. They're in the way, you know. So
Yeah,
I would probably kill some cones too.
they are evil. They need to die. So yeah, I think the question is a bit intended to this. So difficult to have this insider sometimes, but yeah. Did we already had the question of questions? No, we didn't, but we could. Oh God, my cat. We could ask the question of the questions. Are you ready for the questions of the questions?
Yes.
It's
I don't know what
simply.
that means, but okay.
It's simply. Do you like pineapple on pizza or not?
People are not going to like my answer, but I actually kind of do. But I feel like if you're eating pizza, I mean, pretty much anything is going to be good if you're eating pizza, except for like anchovies. Maybe not so much that. Maybe not that.
Our community is divided into love pineapple on pizza and hate pineapple to pizza. So I love this question, and we asked every guest to have an answer to this question. So
I mean, I guess like if I'm ordering pizza, I probably wouldn't like specifically order that, but if it was available, I wouldn't say no to eating it.
yes, same. So yeah, but it's 2-1 for no pineapple on pizza at the moment. So yeah. This question is lovely, so I love this. It's yeah, so nice. But then we have a tick on this. So chat, when you have more questions, just get it in. And by the way, welcome to all I saw in the chat but didn't say hi. So feel welcome. She is one of us. So you're accepted in the community. What is the best advice you ever got?
Focus on the process.
Yes, that's good. Samu, I think that's something you could use as well. Thank you. Yes. What is your goal for the next 5 to 10 years? Oh my goodness.
That's a long time if you think about it. So 5 to 10 years, I guess, in regards to my racing career, I would like to be in a position where I'm full time with a factory team. You know, getting consistently full seasons in the car, getting paid to drive, and that would be the best situation.
Oh yes, I believe, especially paid for the stuff you love to do, and driving and racing and all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, we get paid now, like if we run, you know, if we get pole, every podium, or if we raise extra sponsorship dollars, like we're still getting paid to do that, and we get paid to do schools and coaching and stuff. But like specifically as, you know, a paid professional factory driver, yeah, that would be quite nice.
Definitely, I would be the goal of all the goals more or less for a racing driver. So, yeah. What's the worst advice you ever got?
Worst advice I ever got. Oh, I don't know. That's tough because the worst advice I ever got.
Some stuff you don't remember mostly because
yeah, probably because it was so bad. I was like, I don't want to listen to that. Maybe like, oof, the worst advice I ever got.
I couldn't answer the question myself, so
maybe when people tell you to be like, if they're like, oh well, just kind of like be realistic, or you know, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, kind of like where they're kind of putting their limitations on you and telling you like, oh, maybe you shouldn't be pursuing this anymore, stuff like that. I think that's probably bad advice.
Yeah, you're a girl, you can't racing or something like this. Yeah So
Yeah.
that's something. I mean, I'm not racing, but I heard this many often as I was a child. So you're a girl, you can't like cars and racing and whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think stuff like this is getting you down sometimes. But yeah, did you always want to be a racing driver, be in motorsport?
Yeah, honestly, since I was maybe, I think I was 13 when I decided I'm like, yeah, this is it. Before that, I was like, I want to be a veterinarian, or like, just like little kid, like,
Yes.
yeah, I want to be an astronaut, or yeah, I like dogs, so I'll be a veterinarian kind of thing.
Yep, the same dream I had as I was a child. And then, so, oh no, I don't want to do this. Yes. Who do you, what, who do, wait, who like you more, Peto Award or Josef Newgarden?
Uh, probably Pato. Yeah, like I grew up racing karts with him, and then so yesterday I was really sad that he finished second.
I had,
Especially because he already finished second at St. Pete, and he lost it because of the plenum fire. I felt really bad for him. But...
yes, we had yesterday a watch along stream here for the IndyCar race, and my reaction was more or less the same because I'm a huge Peto fan.
Yeah, he's a good kid, and he's really, really. I mean, obviously he's incredibly fast. So
yes, he is. The next win will come, I'm pretty sure. So he's
yeah.
championship leader. I'm okay with yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Like even though he didn't win, he's been the most consistent, so he's still leading something.
Right. So yes, yesterday was a bit heartbreaking, but it was okay. Is there any car that you'd like to drive?
Oh, so many. I don't think there's just
all
one.
Of them.
Well, like literally so many. Like whether that's like I want to drive a sprint car on dirt at some point. I think that'd be cool. I mean, there's tons of sports cars I'd love to try. Like obviously an Indy car is like that would be amazing. So yeah, there's lots.
Oh yeah, IndyCar would be nice. I'm also a big IndyCar fan, so
That's cool though, because most it's not really as big in Europe, so
that's
cool
true. But I figured out Champ Cars. I was younger, so I was watching F1, and then I found Champ Car back then, so 2003, 4, something around.
Oh.
And it was watched to free in Germany. So yeah, that was my first really big motorsport love, and so I love IndyCar as well. So it has a story. So IndyCar is the biggest for me. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely not the normal answer, but yeah, hopefully you'll be able to go see one in real life one day.
That's the plan, to at least see the Indy 500 live, and I would love to go to St. Pete or Laguna Seca or something like this, or all of them. I don't know. So yeah,
you just have to get a job in IndyCar and then you'll go to all of them.
That would be amazing. Yeah. And I would love to have a combi race with the Mazda MX-5 Cup together. That would be awesome. That would be an incredible weekend. So yes, one day. Dreams are big.
No, you can. That's not even that big. You can totally do that.
Yeah,
that's definitely feasible.
I will write you when I go to
okay.
the US. Maybe you are there as well. So that would be amazing. Yeah. Do you have an idol or a role model?
I mean, growing up, so my dad, I really looked up to my dad. I still do. So I would say definitely my dad. I had a few like that were mentors growing up, going through karting and everything. Then as far as like, really famous people that I guess are my idols. When I learned about Jim Clark, he was definitely an inspiring story. And other than him, I mean, obviously everybody like you always want to say, oh yeah, Senna and Schumacher, obviously they're amazing. But I something about like Jim Clark's personality seemed to be more connected with my own, so I think that's why I chose him.
Yeah, and for me, it's mostly to say a concrete role model is difficult, but you take some bites from everyone you like.
Yeah,
so one of them, and then you put it together for all your own story, more or less, and what you can do out of this. So
yeah, most people don't think that they're like, oh, who's your role model? And I just feel like us as humans, like none of us are perfect. So we're gonna like certain parts of many different idols, so there's never one perfect role model out there.
Yeah. So yeah. How do you prepare for races? Is there any ritual?
Like right before I get in the car, or like literally leading all the way up to a race?
That's a good question. Say maybe you can write in the chat what you mean. Until then, we can go to Leon's question. Was the Sebring weekend the most physical weekend you've had on racing?
No, no. So the Cup car has power steering, and it also has ABS. So like the car is much more. It's a lot less physical to drive than an open wheel car is. And the one respect that it was extremely physically challenging was the fact that it is super hot in the car. Like you don't get like physically tired, you get like mentally and just like heat exhaustion pretty much. Like I think that is the hardest part. But no, I wouldn't say it's definitely not the most physical race.
Okay. Then back to Zay's question. She asked both, so I think she means maybe both.
Okay. Well, it actually works out well because like I'm preparing for Long Beach right now. So like literally, I'm gonna lift up my computer because I literally have my notes sitting underneath my computer. So like this is these are like track notes. Since I haven't been to Long Beach before, you can get notes from like maybe a coach or another driver that has already been there, or sometimes the team will provide them. And so like these little notes, you just go through them and you watch like onboard videos from previous years. Usually I'll rewatch the race that happened like last year and just like make notes, see how the flow of the weekend goes. You can look at data from the previous years as well, like if the team will provide it. So you can see like relatively what the brake shapes look like, I think is like the biggest thing that I look for, or any like some like a technique that looks a bit strange or just like not traditional. And then after video, notes, data, then there's simulators, obviously massive resource. So I've actually already driven it on iRacing like months and months ago because I was already trying to learn all the tracks for the season. So now that I have like kind of a more detailed input from other drivers or from the team, now I take all that information and I drive the sim again and just kind of like apply all those things and look at things in a different perspective. I'll do specific like drills on the sim just to work on certain techniques or to simulate like what the weekend will actually look like. And then we actually have like this doesn't always happen, but you can go to like a more sophisticated sim. It's like a more of a professional sim that actually moves. And so we'll do that this week with the team, with the engineer and with the driver coach. So we'll be spending a day doing that. And then for like the actual race event, I have like debrief sheets that I will fill out, usually like on the track walk. And then for right before I get in the car, usually I will do like a physical warm up. If it's really hot outside, I don't want to get my heart rate too high because you don't want to be hotter than you want to be. So then I'll maybe do a little bit more reaction rather than like a lot of jump roping or like the resistance bands. And so sometimes I'll listen to music while I do that. Sometimes I won't. It just kind of depends on how I am feeling, I guess. And then you just collect all your gear, walk down to the car, and then you do some visualization, usually before you take off if you can. So I try to get in the car just a tiny bit early so I can kind of visualize whether that's like the start or a perfect lap, depending on what session I'm going out for next. So yeah, that's summation of all of it.
Getting into the zone.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite track?
I would say Spa and Brands Hatch GP.
Nice. Yeah, nice tracks. I was never on both so far in real life, but definitely on the list, so.
You were never what?
In Spa and Brands Hatch so far, unfortunately. But maybe Spa this year, so let's see.
Yeah, hopefully.
Finally can see more great tracks in real life. That would be so cool.
Well, how far is it? Like, can you drive there? Is it really far to drive?
The problem is I can't drive a car my own because my eyes are too bad. But yeah, I just see 40% with glasses, so it's not safety to
Oh
drive my
no.
own. But there are always possibilities. I really used to trains meanwhile and stuff, so it's all working out when I want it. So yeah, maybe Spa this year, the 24-hour race. So let's see.
But you'll have to get a buddy to take you, drive you there.
Yes, I'm working on this. Sometimes it's working, so sometimes I have someone coming with me, and sometimes, well, I need to see if I find someone. But I found already someone to go with me to the US, so that's safe.
Oh, there you go. Good.
So yes, we do this. And when you want something to do, you mostly find a way to do it. So that's kind of my opinion of life. So when I want to do this, I find a way to do this. So even
Yeah,
with
exactly.
all the limitations, so it's working when I want it. So yeah. Where we are. If you could choose a song for driver introduction, like in NASCAR, what song would you choose?
uh,
Hmm,
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Let's see.
it's a difficult
Definitely not
question.
like man, I feel like a woman's like, you know, those types of songs. I would definitely not choose that. Maybe that's a tough one. I mean, my one of my favorite songs, like since I was like a preteen, was "Sum 41" Fat Lip, but I don't know if that necessarily fits with driver introductions.
Well,
Um, but I don't know. I guess there was actually they do intro songs for Supercross races as well, and I remember Chad Reed had one that was just like it was super epic. It was like Legend or something like that. There had a I can't even remember what the name of the song is, but I don't know. I'd have to go look through my playlist and pick one.
we will find out. So when we ever have a chat again, then you can tell me that's the song. That's the song. Tell your community that's the song. By the way, I forgot to put it into the info into the title, so I do it here. When you want to find out more about her, you can follow this link. A link. Nice accent here. Have you ever seen a driver you were too starstruck to speak to? Oh, I would know
Um,
mine.
I feel like there's I don't know. Not that I can think of, I guess. Like usually like the when I saw um like Mario Andretti for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, just go do it, just go talk to him. And eventually I did. But I don't know. I guess there hasn't really been one. There's certain situations where you're like, you feel a bit awkward going up and talking to someone. Obviously, if they're engaged in something else, you don't want to like intrude on their time and space. Um, but yeah, I feel like if there is an opportunity presented to speak to them, I would push myself outside of my comfort zone and go talk to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm battling anxiety and ever when I'm going on track. So just talk to them. They don't bite
Yeah,
you.
you
Just
just
talk
have
to
to
them.
jump.
It's all fine.
Honestly, like it's a kind of a cool feeling too, like forcing yourself to do something that makes you uncomfortable. You just like because everybody struggles with it. Everybody struggles with the anxiety and the stress, and you just gotta
Yes.
jump.
And it's always worth it. I never met someone who was not nice to me or whatever. So it's ever worth it
Yeah.
to just get you into this and just do it. So yeah. When you were younger, did you race against a driver who you believe would make it to the top but couldn't due to lack of funds?
Oh yeah. There's tons. One of my
Yeah.
best friends, his name's Nick Neary. He was absolutely amazing. Raced, you know, with like Kyle Kirkwood, Oliver Askew, like they all grew up in Florida racing against each other. And Nick is incredibly talented. And unfortunately, like me, we don't really come from financial backgrounds, so we've each found our own way to keep going. And he still races actually in late model cars, does really well in those. He runs and preps his own cars, so he's finding a way to make it happen. But yeah, there's definitely been quite a few that like Davide Foray is considered one of the best or the best karter ever, and he never made it to cars either. So it's just there's definitely a lot of talent that never gets to see that top spotlight.
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive motorsport is and
Yeah.
become in the last or get in the last year. So I didn't know where this ends, but it's getting crazy. Even in karting, meanwhile, it's just crazy. So yeah.
Oh, it's insane. It's just literally insane.
So pretty happy that you're still racing.
Yeah.
And get this dream
you
alive.
just gotta like find ways to make it happen, and you kind of have to just learn to be good at business and good at managing relationships and finding like kind of new ways to show that you have value to partners. So it's just always learning something and figuring out how to sell the product that everybody would like to invest in.
Yeah, that's all the work behind the racing stuff. I mean, I think so many don't see this side. So you are not just a racing driver. You need to find sponsors. You need to talk to people and to companies. And I think that's more work than even or as than you are on the track or whatever. So it's another full-time job to find all the sponsors and talk to people and write to them and have, I don't know, interviews or whatever. So I think that's crazy.
Yeah, you pretty much have like 4 full-time jobs, and you just got to figure out how to do all of them.
That's all for the passion. It's all for doing what you love. It's crazy. Yeah. Is there a track you'd love to drive one day? There was one to feel.
That I have not driven yet. I feel like I would really. I need to think about this. I feel like I've gotten to drive on the ones that I really were like big bucket list items for me. I mean, I've technically driven on Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but I haven't driven the oval. Yeah. So I feel like that would be kind of a pretty special.
I would say that are two different tracks. So it's counting. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. The oval is so special, so I would say it's two different tracks. Oh, there's the cat. Okay. Can you remember the first time you got noticed, spotted by a fan?
I mean, when I was younger in karting, probably in around like 13 to 15 years old, somewhere in there.
It's crazy to get noticed, I think, but
I remember one of the weirdest first experiences I had is one guy had me sign his Bible. And I feel like that's like, I don't know if you're supposed to technically write or like write in the Bible.
But okay, when you want it. That's okay, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
I not expected this, but okay. Interesting. But well. Do you think it's easier in the US to get into oval racing than it is to get to road racing?
I'd say yes, probably. Yes and no. Like there's still plenty of opportunities for both. But there's definitely, I think, more oval tracks in the US than there are road courses. Like in Florida alone, like there's like, a circle track, like it feels like every 50 miles. And it's incredibly cheap to go run compared to a lot of the road course stuff. And it's also like you can make a lot more money doing the oval stuff. Like you can just by showing up, you get paid. And then if you win, you make a lot. Like you don't actually pay to enter. Or a few of them, you don't even pay to enter the race. So it's like, yeah, because they have so many spectators that will come watch the race. So yeah, they're able to just offer just this awesome, easy way to get into a race. So yeah, I would say yes. Yeah.
That's crazy. And when you think about that, the IndyCar racing series, the last 1-2 years had not really many over races on that channel, so
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. I mean, for us in Europe, it's normal to have no real over racing because we have not that many over tracks. Just some with some parts of an oval. So, but yeah, it's crazy when you have a look at the channel, and so why there are not really many over racing on a calendar like for IndyCar. It's kind of crazy, I would say, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I mean it's very dangerous on the ovals for the Indy cars,
Yes.
so maybe that might be why they're trying to minimize them a little more because I feel like with the new cars and everything, there's not as many tracks like oval tracks that they deem to have the safety standards that they would ideally like just to make sure that they don't have any horrible accidents again.
Yeah. What do you think about the aero screen when we are getting in the safety stuff here?
I mean, I feel like I like the Halo a lot more. Just from a driver's airflow perspective, like the aero screens, the drivers are incredibly like they get super hot. So that's not ideal. But I feel like the Halo does pretty much everything that the aero screen does. It's just like less intrusive, but I don't know. I haven't driven in an aero screen, so I cannot say for 100%.
Yeah, but I believe that's true. I mean, the racers or the drivers always complain at the beginning about the heat in the car, and I think, of course, it's logical that it's heating up. So, yeah, definitely. I wanted to do. Ah, yeah. You prefer when you could choose? Would you prefer the DRS stuff, or do you like push to pass more?
Um, I feel like I would like push to pass more because it doesn't change the way that the aerodynamics of the car behave. Like you're literally just like the engine is just going faster. So I think I just don't know what it would feel like to have the DRS on and then it shut off abruptly right before you turn into the corner. I don't know what that would feel like because all the open wheel cars I drove did not have it. So I don't know. I think I would like push to pass better, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, what I like more about push to pass is that you can choose free when you use it, and that you have more strategic and yeah freedom to use it for your own race story more or less. So you don't have to the whole the same sections all the time. You just can use it when you need it and when you want it, and you can play with it, and you can
Yeah.
design your own race a bit more with this. So that's why I like personally like push to pass a bit more than the DRS stuff. But I think that's a open field to discuss about and to what you like more. It's like the Halo and the aero screen and push to pass DRS. Do you like over races more, road
Yeah.
courses, or whatever it is? That's a whole field about to talk about. What do you like to do on your time off?
I like to do like outdoor activities, so maybe like hiking, biking, going camping, skiing. But I also like to just chill sometimes. I actually read quite a lot. And then who doesn't love some Netflix? Like gotta get all those good series in. So I would say outdoor activities like if I'm not absolutely drained from all the work. But then yeah, I actually like arts and craft type stuff as well. Like if I get the chance to do that. So yeah, lots of different interests.
That's so cool. Sometimes you get too many interests, but I love it when people have so many different
Yeah.
interests and just try stuff out and see if it works for the person itself. So if it's nothing for one, what I talk, I missed my English. So, but yeah.
It's okay. My German is non-existent. So.
I promise I can English. No. um. Great. Talking about ovals, are you a What, Bristol or more of a Talladega person? What's this?
I feel like honestly, I don't know enough about ovals to really give a educated or professional opinion. But if I had to choose, I would probably say Talladega.
Okay. What cars or other stuff do you own yourself?
I have a shifter cart still. I actually still have the shifter cart that I won my last national championship on. So it's an energy cart, stock Honda, and then I have when I was, oh gosh, maybe 20ish, I bought a very cheap MX-5. Well, yeah, it's like old Miata. It's not like one of the new ones. It's 1993. So yeah, it's super fun. I can just throw it around. It's cheap to maintain, and it's a nice fun little car. So, but I don't have any like super nice collectible cars or anything like that.
But the Mazda is so cool, so you don't need any more cars. No, I think my Chad will have other ideas to when it's about to buy cars, but I love the Mazdas. I'm a big Mazda MX-5 Cup fan, and I love the cars. And yeah, it looks so
Yeah,
fun.
they're good little cars. They are good little cars.
The Miata is a collectible. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a cool car. You did one race in the Mazda MX-5 Cup when I'm not wrong, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at Daytona.
Yeah, I remember right.
It was insane. Like it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
I believe, and the series is so incredible, competitive. I hate this
Yeah.
word. and
It's okay.
and every race is awesome, and it's crazy to see the races every time when they race, and yes, I
Yeah, it's
enjoy them a lot.
incredibly close.
Yes.
And I think the hardest part was at Daytona, like the draft was 3 seconds, I think. So if you were by yourself, like you were just screwed.
Yeah.
Which was it was different. So but it was a lot of fun.
I believe it looks like fun. It's even as spectator, you don't drive and you just watch the race, and so wow, it looks so incredible, exhausting, but at the same time so much fun to drive this 45-minute races. It's looking so good, and even when you're a first or when you're I don't know 18th, you can still win this race on the last lap.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. So I love watching them. It's amazing. So yeah. Would you like to race EV cars?
I honestly would race anything. Like someone wants me to race it, I would probably try it. So why not?
Yeah. I mean, when you're a race car driver, I think you get any opportunity to drive or to race. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
But it is impressive, like the instantaneous torque that the EVs have. I just did a coaching school with the AMG Academy, and we had the EQS for the drag race, and it was like, I'll be honest, I'm not as like inspired by electronic vehicles as I am like gas powered, but then I rode in the EQS and drove it, and I was like, okay, I understand now. Like this is pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, there are so many awesome cars and stuff outside to just race. So I forgot what I wanted to say, but yeah. Something I wanted to say, but I forgot. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just racing cards as I was younger, so I have no idea about the difference. I have an idea about the difference of cars and I don't know, open wheelers and GT cars and whatever. Now I remember what I wanted to say. But I believe there are so many differences, but it's at the same time so interesting to know all the difference about the different car types and just try them out and to see, okay, here I need to drive maybe like this, and here I need to adapt my driving level. And I think you can learn from every car something for the next car type you maybe drive or try out or whatever. So yeah, it's amazing to try out more different cars to just be a better racing driver. So
Yeah.
that's cool. What I wanted to say before, you raced at the NLS, so you raced at the Nürburgring. So with the 24-hour race, something you would maybe love to attend to. So
Yeah, I would absolutely love to try the 24-hour. It was kind of like trying to get to that point with oh no, I think my electricity just shut off.
oh, but you're still here.
Well, because I'm on my laptop, so like, okay, there we go. I just turned it on. Sorry. That was weird. Yeah, I would love to try the 24-hour race. I did the first NLS race in 2021, and we won the race, so that's good. That counts towards my like A permit. So I just need to get a couple more, and then I should be good to go. But yeah, it would be super fun to be able to do 24.
Yeah, I was at my first 24-hour race this year, so that will be fun too. Have we more questions? Let me see. Because of my autism, I'm now learning IT, even though I don't really like it. Okay, but no choice. You have an idea what programs would be great to learn to join a race team?
Programs. So if you wanted to be like a data engineer or a DAG, I would recommend learning. I mean, it depends on what series you want to go into, but once you learn like one data analysis system, it's pretty easy to learn the rest. But I think the ones that are mostly used is like Pi and Motec, AIM, and you can try LiveView. Not that many series use it, but a lot of the F4 uses it. So yeah, but I would say Pi is probably the most widely used. I would have to say, at least it is for a lot of the stuff in the U.S. Yeah, I would recommend that. You can get a light license for free, and just learn how to start playing around on it. And usually, if you want like a specific workbook for certain series, either you can email the series and they'll kind of like send a template, or you can get it right off the website. So yeah, I would recommend that.
You are a mechanical engineer. Does it help you during your driving, or yeah, does it help you?
So like when you're in the race car, you don't want to be an engineer because then you'd be thinking too much and you're not focused on things that you're supposed to be doing as a driver. So in some ways, like when I'm not in the car and maybe when I'm just communicating with my engineer and we're trying to like maybe come up with solutions on how to work on the handling of the vehicle, it can be beneficial in that way. But when you're in the car trying to just extract the most from the vehicle and go as fast as you can, the engineering is not necessarily like the skill that you lean on, other than you can think, okay, well, I've got massive understeer. What do I know about the mechanics of this car that I can use as a tool to try and solve it, other than like, and I usually only run out of those. I usually will only think of it that way if I run out of like, the typical driving tools that you use, whether that's how you utilize obviously your tools, the steering, the brake, the gas, and any like braking settings or different settings you have available to you in the car. Then you would kind of think of it more from an engineering standpoint. But yeah, you just have to be careful, I guess. You got to keep it separated at the right times.
Yeah, I understand. Do you ever get the chance to race or play in your go-kart?
I do drive my go-karts. Sometimes it's actually back in Colorado, so I do get to drive it when I go back there, if there's not snow on the ground. But I don't race it anymore. I don't think the stock Hondas, they kind of been phased out now. Like they transitioned to a new engine package in the last couple years. So yeah, it wouldn't actually be able to be entered in the Pro Series anymore because they've switched to it's mostly rock engines and Iami.
Okay. Ice karting with the snow on the ground.
Yeah, we could go ice karting, but there's not enough. Like you don't get enough. It's not as cold in Grand Junction where I'm from, so you wouldn't be able to build an ice track. But there are ice tracks in like Aspen, Carbondale area, so you couldn't go up there. And they do have like ice carts with like the actual studded tires.
That looks so fun as well. So ice karting would be something I would want to try one day as well because it looks so fun. I think it will be very, very difficult and exhausting, but it looks so fun. I mean,
yeah, definitely the most fun part.
Yes, I was karting back then. I loved to drive in the rain because it was so much more fun than drive on a dry track. So I think I would like ice karting.
Probably.
That would be so cool. One day, again, one day. So many plans. A lot of sim racers use engine braking. Do you use that technique in racing?
Depends on what you're driving. Yeah, yes, you can. But sometimes, depending on what you're driving, you don't want to because maybe it's a bit too hard on the car and the engine.
Nice. So let's round up this a bit because we are close to after 1 hour. I wanted to say my time, but it doesn't help you when I say my time here. So yeah, what is your main goal for this year or for this season to just get this close together now?
So for this season, main goal is to learn all I can from obviously Kelly Moss is an incredible team and they've won many championships in the Porsche Cup cars. So leaning on their experience and just really trying to progress forward over the first few rounds and then putting all of that knowledge together to then just like start to really collect great results. So that is really kind of the plan for the season.
That sounds great. So we will definitely follow. So we follow you. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the last article Dan wrote, by the way, when he's not here, I should say hi to you, so that I didn't miss it. So yeah, we definitely will follow you. And if you want to know more about Sabré, you can click the link you see in the chat. There you find all her social media stuff, her shop. I have the good. No wait, wrong direction. The good Sabré Cook shirt. I can show you chat. I can show you in a couple of minutes. What is today? I was at work. It's just me. So yeah, I would say the last question because the question was before I ended. Favorite race car?
Favorite race car? Oh, open wheel or GT? I guess I can give both.
Yes, just both.
I would probably say I think it was 1967 was the Lotus that was the first rear engine car or mid-engine car that won the 500. I think that's kind of impressive. And then there's something about the 917 that I really like. I don't know what. I've just loved it.
It's a vibe.
To tell you about it. What?
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe, yeah, exactly. I actually even had like you could pick the color of your like sim chassis, and I picked the colors to match the 917 livery. So yeah, I don't know. I appreciate that they tried, but it wasn't maybe as a success of an engineering feat that they had hoped. Yeah, I don't know. Those two kind of stand out for me. But then obviously I extremely appreciate the current technology is obviously just above and beyond, especially with the F1 cars. So
yeah, definitely. There are so many great cars outside, especially today. But there is something special sometimes about all the old cars you just don't see today.
Yeah, like what they were able to do with what they had, and they just didn't. They didn't have all the software and the simulation and like the tools that we have nowadays and like what they were able to build back then, and they just like figured it out. I think that's what makes it special.
Definitely. It's a vibe. It's just a vibe and love and passion. And that's
Yeah.
motorsport. That's all about motorsport. So that's just great. Yeah. But yeah, I would say that was yeah, our chat. I thank you very much that you was here. Was here, yeah. And joined us for this yeah, little stream. I hope you enjoyed our questions,
Yeah, I did. Thank you guys so much for having me.
especially the pizza question. And yeah, maybe we can repeat this one day. So I think the chat would be interested. I would definitely interested too. And yeah, maybe
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe we see us on a racetrack very soon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just let me know. That sounds great.
Always. I just write you then. So I will be great. So many possibilities in the next years, I think. So we will make it possible. Yeah, King,
Yeah.
I'm not done. I will stay a bit for the stream. So we just say bye to
Okay.
Sabré, and then I will stay for a bit.
Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye bye.